Junkyard Junkie, back here with another video. Today we're going to be working on this 12th generation Ford F-150. But the procedure should be about the same for every Ford F-150 with four-wheel drive that uses the IWE system. IWE stands for interlocking wheel end, and all it does is it separates the drive shaft from the wheel hub whenever you're in two-wheel drive and then re-engages it when you're in four-wheel drive. The system works off a vacuum. Now, if you need to diagnose this, look right up here in the cards up top and you'll see the video where I go over diagnosing it. But other than that, let's jump right into it. Okay, so we want to go ahead and take the wheel off. Okay, so looking in here, we're going to have to take this tie rod off. Come back here. Our vacuum hoses right here. Have to take these off. And we'll have to take off this upper ball joint. Coming over here to the right side, we'll have to go ahead and take off these brackets that hold it to this knuckle. We'll also remove it from right here. We'll have to take off our brake caliper bracket, and our rotor. Okay, so you want to get a 10 millimeter. We're just going to take these off. A little trick is to stick it back up in there. That way you don't lose it. Okay, now we got to take off this little mounting bracket for our brake line and then this little bracket. This one's an 8 millimeter. Okay, so we want to take off our vacuum lines. Just grab on, just work them off. There we go. To take the brake caliper off, we need to take this bolt off and that one. And then this big one and that bottom big one right there, both those will come off to take off your brake caliper bracket. Okay, so you're going to need a bungee cord or one of these little S hooks to hold this brake caliper up. You're also going to need a 13 millimeter for these, and the bigger ones on the inside you need a 21 millimeter. So we'll go ahead and crack them loose. Now we'll just work this off, just like that. We'll go ahead and put this S hook in here, just like that. We'll hang it over here on our sway bar. That way this line has no pressure on it. Okay, for the bracket bolts, it's going to take a 21 millimeter. This one broke. There we go. Now we can just set this to the side. Okay, so now then, your rotor should just come off. Mine's free. If yours isn't, give it a few love taps in between the studs. Be careful, don't hit the studs or the threads. Okay, now we want to take our tie rod off. So grab you a 21 millimeter. The easiest way to break these free is hit right here on the side. So right there. There we go. So we got it broke free. This one was a lot tougher. There we go. Okay, so we need a 21mm socket to break this free. There we go. Okay, just like with the tie rod, we're just going to get a few little love taps right here. Pop it loose just like that. There we go. Now it's all free and we can actually work on getting it out now. Okay, so we want to go ahead and take this little dust cap off. So just try to get a screwdriver back there. Work it on both sides. Might have to take a hammer. There we go. Okay, so this little nut is 13mm. Okay, so we're going to take out these 3 8mm. Now then, we can take off the upper control arm. Okay, so we're going to let that come off with the CV axle. There we go. So now we'll go ahead and take this off and put the new one on. But before we do, we'll grease it up. So here's our old part and here's our new part. Okay, as you can see here, the teeth will engage onto the CV axle and that's what locks it in there. This diaphragm is most likely ruptured and that's our problem. Okay, so looking at the old one, if we look at our gauge, as you can see, it's bleeding off. But if we look right here, we can still see its function because it'll still suck it in. So when in 2-wheel drive, it'll pull away from that CV axle, just like that. Then if we let go of the vacuum, it goes back to 4-wheel drive. Okay, so to see how this operates, right now we're in 4-wheel drive. You can see the whole shaft turns with it. We'll apply some vacuum. That should be more than enough. Now we can just turn the hub. As you can see, it's not spinning the shaft, so it detaches. Now if we let this off, it will go back to 4-wheel drive. Okay, so you want to clean up all this old grease. Just make sure to get it nice and clean. Okay, and then also remember to clean it up right here and on the teeth. So we just clean all this up. Now we're going to apply new grease. Inside here is some roller bearings. So you just want to make sure you get all that lubricated and greased up. I believe we're about good to go now. Okay, so now we're just going to pick this up, slide it in there, stick it back in our hub. We'll go ahead and get our 3 bolts started. You just want to get these snug. Now then, for this part, they say to pull a vacuum, but as long as you're careful, it should be okay. But you just want to get it up here, spline it in. This will get torqued down to 20 foot-pounds. Let's go ahead and get it started for now. Now then, to make sure that it's properly splined up, you want to go ahead and turn this, and when you do, the CV axle should turn with it. There we go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and torque this down 20 foot-pounds. There we go. There isn't much torque on there. Don't forget to put your dust cap back on. All you gotta do is lightly tap it in. Okay, this goes to 85 foot-pounds. Perfect. Okay, so we want to put our tie rod back in. Just like that. Grab our 21mm nut. And we'll just run that back up there. Okay, this gets torqued down to 111 foot-pounds. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put our rotor back on. Okay, to keep the rotor from flipping around, we're just going to put one lug nut on. And we're just going to run it down. Just like that. Okay, we'll put our caliper bracket back on. Okay, so we'll go ahead and run these down. Okay, we'll come back and torque these down afterwards. Okay, so we're just going to take our brake caliper off of our sway bar and line it right back up. Just like that. And we'll get these started back. Okay, so we'll go ahead and run those in. Okay, so we want to get all of our lines back the way they were. So we'll just undo this. It's got a little slot it goes into. So we'll go ahead and run that in. Get our 10mm. Just get those nice and snug and they'll be good to go. Okay, as you can see, this little part will go right back into here. Just like that. And finally we got this part up here. Take that off. Don't let it smush this wire right there. Perfect. Okay, now that we got everything nice and put back together and torqued down, we're just going to take this back off. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put the wheel back on. Alright, I like to run those two in just so it stays flush. Now we'll just run them all in. Now then, once you get it back on the ground, you want to torque it to factory specs. And that's going to do it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please leave me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.